All right, everybody, we're back with fantasy football, and being a Dallas Cowboy fan, I think this is where we're going to get our excitement this fall. I think we're going to depend on fantasy football. All right, I've got Clutch City Cowboy back again, but first, he has to apologize to anybody out there that started Roddy White last week, that sat Roddy White last week, like he told you to. Now, apologize. Go ahead.
I am sorry for telling people to sit Roddy White, but I didn't even take my own advice, and I started him anyway.
That's even worse.
But I did tell you guys to sit Brett Favre.
Yes.
And put in Joe Flacco, and Joe Flacco may destroy the Bills' defense.
Right. But you missed a little bit on Maurice Jones-Drew. He had some decent yards. Yeah. And a touchdown.
Receiving yards.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah, and a touchdown. That's just tough to bench a beast. All right, now, let's go through it again. Who are you going to sit this week? Tell them.
Got a couple. Drew Brees versus Pittsburgh.
Drew Brees.
We had this conversation last week. You should sit any quarterback that plays against Pittsburgh defense.
But I did say
he looked good last against the Browns.
Yeah.
And I don't expect him to look any better this week.
I did say one of those upper echelon quarterbacks like Drew Brees was probably the first quarterback taken in a lot of drafts. However, he's not playing good. He doesn't have Reggie Bush to dump off the ball to, and I'd bench him. I'd definitely bench him.
Then we got Greg Jennings going up against Revis Island. Darrelle Revis is back. The Jets are looking good, and he didn't look great against a soft Vikings secondary.
That's true. That's true.
I don't look for him to put up a lot of points this week.
That's true. It's gonna be. I have Aaron Rodgers on just about every one of my leagues. I got Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback, so it's gonna be hard for me not to start Aaron Rodgers. But what you're saying, if the number one receiver to bench, I should bench Rodgers too, right?
I don't know. They got a pretty good matchup with. You also have Donald Driver. You also have James Jones. I mean, they still have weapons. And it's still going to be a competitive game, but I think Greg Jennings is going to be the one. He's not going to have as much success as everyone else on the team. Right.
So, I can't do. I've got to play Aaron Rodgers. But there's a lot of quarterbacks being sat. Who can we pick up for a bye replacement or a replacement because they're playing Pittsburgh or whatever? Who are some good quarterbacks with some good matchups this week?
I hate to say it, but Kitna. If there's a week to start Kitna, this is the only week.
He's right.
Jags secondary is atrocious.
He's right. He's right.
There's no way he does not get at least a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, we may not win the game, but he will get probably at least 2 touchdowns. I agree. Any others? I might pick up Kitna.
Ryan Fitzpatrick for Buffalo.
Right.
Against Kansas City. He's looked good. He looked good against Ravens defense. Matthew Stafford's back. They're going up against Washington. I believe they've allowed like top 5 numbers for a quarterback this year. Chad Henne versus Cincinnati. They're going to be missing a bunch of guys in their secondary. And Carson Palmer, I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball, so they're going to have to throw the ball.
All right. Now, give you some people to start, some definite starts. I know you already said Stafford. That's one of you. Who else?
How can I bet against this guy? Des Bryant versus Jacksonville secondary.
Our new Herschel Walker, ladies and gentlemen.
It's obvious Kitna loved Des Bryant this past week, and I don't see him shying away from the biggest target on our team.
Cool. Who else?
Mike Williams, wide receiver out of Seattle versus Oakland. He's going to be going up against, I always mess his name up, Nnamdi Asomugha.
Nnamdi. Just go Nnamdi.
But it's Hasselbeck's main target. They sent Deion Branch away. They sent T.J. Houshmandzadeh away. He doesn't have anybody else to throw to, and this guy is showing that he's a legitimate threat. So look for him to get a bunch of yards. Another one is Jermaine Gresham versus Miami. I talked about Carson Palmer earlier. Jermaine Gresham, he should be good for a bunch of targets, especially in the end zone, because he's that type of tight end.
But no running against Miami, though, right?
I actually, in my sits, I was going to say earlier, Cedric Vincent, just don't. They shut down Mendenhall, and Pittsburgh has a good O-line. Cincinnati doesn't. It's that simple.
All right. You have another sit that we didn't get to. I see on here.
Yeah,
This is just crazy. It's nuts.
Kenny Britt versus Chargers.
The monster Kenny Britt.
The monster Kenny Britt.
Okay. All right. And you say start the Kansas City backs versus Buffalo also. Either one.
Thomas Jones and Jamal Charles. I don't care which one you have.
I got Jamal.
You got both of them. Start them both. they should each get enough carries against this atrocious Buffalo run defense. Like you said last week, Buffalo can protect the pass pretty decently.
That's it.
They're not going to do this week, and they're not going to protect the run game.
Yeah, they can't put any pressure on the pass either, though. That's
Kansas
problem.
City should get ahead in this game pretty quick, and when that happens, they're going to be running the rest of the game. So
Yeah.
Definitely start.
All right. Any other pickups people should look at this week if they need a bye week replacement?
With all of the Colts injuries, you have to pick up Colts players as long as Peyton Manning is the quarterback.
Just any Colt player?
Basically, Joseph Adai's hurt, and the word on the street is Mike Hart's going to get the carries, and probably the goal line carries. Then you got wide receiver Blair White. If you guys remember, a couple weeks back, he actually won a game for them because he went up to Peyton. This is the guy that went up to Peyton Manning and said, "Hey, look, I think we should do this." Basically telling Peyton Manning what to do, and Manning listened to him, and they ended up hooking up for a touchdown, and it won the game. Another wide receiver, Anthony Gonzalez. He was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he was a decent wide receiver, and he and Peyton Manning should hook up a couple times. And then this is the most important pickup. They have said they drafted this guy because he's a Dallas Clark clone. Tight end Jacob Tam or Tammy or
Tamme. Tam, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know that.
And if he is indeed a Dallas Clark clone, he should get just as many targets.
Yeah.
Then we got there is a wide receiver in Carolina other than Steve Smith that you might want to take a look at. His name is David Gettis.
The rookie, yeah.
Versus St. Louis. St. Louis, no defense. Why not? Matt Moore. I mean, Steve Smith is not the only target in Carolina anymore, and David Gettis might. It looks like a good matchup for me.
Cool.
And then last week we saw what Steve Smith did against Orlando Scandrick.
Right.
I see a similar situation with Green Bay Packers wide receiver James Jones versus rookie Kyle Wilson of the Jets. I can see the same things happening.
Really?
Guys.
Really? Huh?
I think so. You saw James Jones had decent numbers last week against the Vikings, and I could definitely see him destroying Kyle Wilson as a rookie.
That's where you have to attack with that Jets defense with Cromartie and Revis, on your top two. So I guess you do have to attack that slot. So he's probably going to get a lot of targets. He's on his mark, man.
Targets, and probably a lot of wide open targets.
Yeah.
And same thing that they did, the Giants did with Kendrick, just tear apart.
And you got a defense for people to look after, right?
I do indeed. This is the plug and play of the week for the defense. Seattle. Seattle was last week.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay defense versus Arizona.
Tampa Bay, yeah.
Arizona is not doing anything. Don't expect them to start now.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's defense, that's their keystone. That's something that they built their team since Gruden was there.
Right.
They've just been a defensive-minded team, and it's still there with Raheem Morris.
All right.
So I look for them to do pretty well
right.
against Arizona.
All right, give me some quick matchups to watch while we wrap it up.
I got about 4 or 5. Miami versus Cincinnati. I think, like I said, both of those quarterbacks should benefit from each other's defenses. So for all we know, it could be a shootout. Green Bay versus the New York Jets.
Got to see that one.
It's the game you have to watch.
Yeah.
Because it involves Green Bay and it involves the Jets. It's like it's an offense versus a defense.
Right.
And it should be a good game. I'm interested in seeing Minnesota versus New England.
Me too.
Moss's return.
It's too much drama.
New England. It's a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Brett Favre on that.
Will he play? Will he not play? Will Tavares Jackson do better? Will he die right there on the field? It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's awesome. And then Sunday and Monday night games are actually pretty good. Pittsburgh versus New Orleans.
Yeah.
We talked about don't start your Brees, but it should be a good. It's always fun. I mean, it's always fun to watch Pittsburgh destroy teams.
Right. It is.
I don't care who your team is.
It is.
I live in Houston, so I'm picking the Monday night.
It's going to be a good one.
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
It should be a high-scoring game. Neither team has good defense.
Yeah.
It could be up in the 40s or 30s at the end of the game. So it's going to be a shootout. If you like offensive games, that's the offensive game to watch. And hopefully Arian Foster puts up big numbers.
For you. You're right. I'll see you soon. We're still in the lead. I can't. You got a game on me. Now we're tied for first. Okay. But I'm still going to take the lead. All right, guys. We'll see you. We'll see how good he does next week. Grade him below on how he did last week, if you remember. And if you sat Roddy White, let him hear it down below. All right. Holla.